We are live now. We are alive. I want to say thank you
to ask more questions. Now it's good to ask questions, but the thing is that it's not, I'm not going down the road to say that conventional medicine is bad. The real way forward would be to have the best of conventional medicine and the best of alternative supplements or whatever, and superimposed both of those on the individual. And that is the best way forward. But at the moment, and medicine has a place. Medicine has a place. I'm not denying that. But what's best for you? What's best for the individual? What do you want to do? What do you want to try? To answer your question in more detail, Daniel, it would be about, as I say, a friend of mine rings me up and he says, have I got something for you? And I said, what is it? And he said, I'll meet you. So he said, he told me three things that impressed me. One, the science was good. Validated, third party validated. The second thing was that it could not harm me because these molecules are the same as the molecules in my body, in your body, in all our bodies. So what happens, I'll go into that in a small bit of detail. So the other thing then was that the testimonials were absolutely amazing. So now you say to yourself, well, you start to evolve some thinking around why is it that younger people generally are healthier than older people? And one of the reasons is that younger people produce in abundance more healing instructions than older people. So they're more energized, they're healthier, they recover quicker. Whereas as we age, and the science is saying for every 10 years, we lose about 10% of our healing instructions. So if you're 50, for example, you've lost half. But this would depend on a whole lot of other variables, your lifestyle. You're working too hard? Are you exercising? Are you very sedentary? Or what kind of food you're eating? The word for me is balance. To bring the body into balance, to bring your thinking into balance, and the health services in Ireland and in England, as we know, are very stretched, and in other parts of the world. And so we need to ask ourselves, why is it we are so unhealthy? Why is it we are presenting to the doctor? Why is it is difficult to get a bed in a hospital? Why, these are fundamental questions. We seem to be very good at, once the problem is recognized and diagnosed, that we can put you into the system and that you will be treated. Now, as I say, medication has a place, but some people are open to new ways of doing things, other people are not. And, I accept the dignity of their decision. But what I'm trying to do is open minds, enable understanding. This may not be for you, but you deserve to know about it. Does that answer the question, Daniel?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it kind of like, for when you're talking about this, what comes to mind is my fasting journey. So I'm a big believer in fasting. And yet when the amount of times I've spoken to a doctor about it and they've immediately dismissed it without being open-minded to it, kind of reminds me of perhaps maybe of what you went through as well, where unconventional treatments aren't recognized because of perhaps it's a narrative, perhaps it's they're taking an approach where they want a sort of a pill focused approach. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Margaret?
Definitely. I mean, what you've come up with regarding about fasting, what made you, Daniel, to go down the route of fasting? Was it because you were unhealthy? Was it because there was something happened that you felt if you fast, that would be able to
No, I mean
bring it
to me, I always saw it. I've always been quite healthy. I've done sports, meditated, ate very well. But for me, fasting was more of a service for my body. So some people use it to lose weight and for their health, but for me, it was like a MOT for my body. And I do a fast because it starts a process called autophagy, etc. And that sort of replenishes your immune system, etc. And there's a number of benefits, and also it does something. I think it replenishes BDNF receptors, which are the functions for your brain where you can gain extra clarity, better memory, all of that. So yeah, so that's why I did it, just as a service and MOT. What about you, Patrick?
You see, I have type 1 diabetes, right? And I'm like this for the last 48 years. 4 injections a day. And now, because of these redox signaling molecules, I'm on over 60% less insulin. So I like to think of that, Daniel and Margaret, as I've jump-started my pancreas or something. I'm not sure about that, but that kind of principle that the body wants to heal itself.
Yes.
So we need all these pillars, nutrition, sleep, exercise, hydration, spiritual well-being. But now we need ideally we need these signaling molecules. Now, people say to me, look, I'm fine. I said, great. But I said, the reason I'm doing this is I'm into prevention. I want to be the last person standing in the pension scheme. That kind of principle, be the best version of yourself for as long as you possibly can. And our health is an amazing pillar. I mean, you see people who are very well educated and take huge pride in knowing a lot of things. But then you know these people, we all know them, but then you see them drinking a bottle of fizz with their lunch and they smoke, and you say to yourself, wow, so they're kind of disconnected, that's my take.
Do you know, it's funny you should say that. I don't know if you guys have both noticed, when you go to a hospital, like any hospital, you'll see like sweet shops, fizzy drinks, like in the hospital, a shop that sells that, and you would think that they would have like a greengrocers in there. Rather, it's for me that there's like you said, there's a huge disconnect there. It's like it blows my mind that.
Sure.
Trick, a quick question. When you open up, you said, you were doing a job that you truly loved and you enjoyed. Yes?
Yeah.
Did you go to the gym to keep fit or your health, your eating habits? What made you become sick?
I think it was a combination, Margaret, of sleep deficit, eating foods that weren't contributing to a lower inflammatory markers. I walked everywhere I could, but I just, when you're working so hard and you're focused so intently on something, you you really do go out of balance. And balance is the way forward. Now, you may not balance every day, but you should at least be aware of it. You know, at least be aware of it. To balance your thinking. What are your predominant thoughts?
I think that's a really good point that you shared, the predominant thoughts, because often a lot of times the way we're thinking is not in alignment with truth and reality. And you know, our emotions tell us that. So when we think negative thoughts, we start to feel negative, and that shifts us out of balance. And often those thoughts are not in alignment with a deeper truth or reality. You know, like I don't know what it's what people have said. Like, for example, I heard a friend of mine say recently, "No one ever helps me." Yeah, and when they said no one ever helps me, yeah, that's not true, because I notice people do help them, but you know what they're saying is no one ever helps me, and that thought that they had is not in alignment with what's actually happening, so they come out of balance.
And that also can really, and that also can impact them moving forward, never really getting the help that they're supposed to have due to the way they've been thinking.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Yes. Go on, Patrick. Go on.
Well, you see, look, if we look at the general population and we put ourselves in there, and if we say the line is courage, so are you living above the line or below the line? So if you're living below the line, where you indulge in conversation, oh, nothing works for me, just like you were implying there, everything I try goes wrong, and people don't like me, and I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. Now, if you live above the line and try and stay above the line, the first step in all of this is awareness, but to be grateful for all the good things in your life, you know, and celebrate them. You will come more into balance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and sometimes the to be grateful for the good things in life means to be grateful for the simple things in life. Like today, I've had 3 meals. Well, not today yet, but today I had breakfast, or I've got my 2 feet, or it's sunny. Well, this is the UK, so it's not sunny, but but yeah, 100%.
I love that part you brought in, because gratitude is so important. It also kind of helps with your health as well. It impacts your health as well. It opens a lot of doors. For example, if I get up in the morning, before I even step out of my bed, one of the things that I do, I would take time now and say, thank you to God. Thank you for my food. Thank you for yesterday. Thank you. Oh my God, this happened today. Thank you so much. That's happened. Thank you. I went shopping and I came back. Thank you for my children. And you get up in that morning, when you get up finally, there is a positiveness around you. Again, that holds you up. So yeah, gratitude is very key also to our health as well.
And you're so right, Margaret, because I mean, how many of us sit on the bed in the morning beside you, Margaret, and say, isn't it wonderful? My heart was beating all night and I didn't even realize it, you know? And my kidneys and my liver and my pancreas were working and, you know, getting things together for the next day, you know, and how we should celebrate that, at least be aware about it. But now you see, we're in a different space now with these redox signaling molecules. I have a book here. Can you see that?
Yeah, take it back a bit to the camera.
One disease.
That's it. Hold it there. Good. Yeah, we can see that. One disease. Okay. Yes, we can see that.
One disease, redox imbalance. And I'll just read you without my glasses now, right? without my glasses.
That's fine. You want to have a look good without your
No,
glasses.
no, I'm just demonstrating, you know. So
Okay.
redox imbalance is the disease we don't measure, diagnose or treat. It's behind virtually every chronic disease and symptom, and it's driving over 1.5 trillion in annual healthcare spending in the US alone. Yet, despite 250,000 peer-reviewed articles on PubMed exploring its role in health and disease, redox imbalance is virtually unknown outside the medical research community. The goal of One Disease Redox Imbalance is to change that by shining a light on this important yet largely overlooked body of research.
I mean, to be honest with you, I hadn't heard of this before. Yeah, you enlightened me today. So I'm definitely going to do a little bit more research about this. So yeah.
Yeah, there's an enormous amount of research out there, but this is why we're focusing on education and understanding. It needs a conversation, you know. It's basically salt and water, but it's highly patented, you know. So it's amazing. I mean, it's given me my life back. After this call, I'm going out on my bike.
Wow.
For the triathlon, yeah.
I'm not
We'll
that
be
good.
seeing you on the marathon as well.
But look,
Patrick,
it's about. Sorry, Mark. Sorry, did you want to say something?
yeah, I was just going to ask you a question. When you did the opening, and you kind of mentioned some fruits, food that when you're eating
Inflammatory
high
food.
impact. Can
Yeah.
you just elaborate a little bit? Because when you say tomatoes, I
Said
kind of
apples, I
sometimes
love
just
that.
I know. Well,
oh,
you see,
so
tomatoes. If you look it up on YouTube, tomatoes
mhm.
are a highly inflammatory food.
Wow.
Grapefruit. I'm giving you my experience, but YouTube or Google has this inflammatory markers, foods that are designated inflammatory. And look, I'm not saying give up tomatoes. I'm just saying reduce the tomatoes. You know, do you know the way there's this thing going on in society? Oh, I'm vegan. Sorry, I can't talk to you. You know, I'm so focused on one thing that this is me. This is now my identity. You see, this is now my identity, and identity goes further than just a diet. It could be that, look, I've had some medical issues, and this is now my identity. So that's all I want to talk about. And but look, do you want to stay there, or would you like to move forward? Is a question, you know. And when you ask some people that, they say, "Well, how do you mean?" So their mindset is parked, like in a car park, you know. They just park their mind, and that's it, you know. But some people, I think there's there's a change coming.
Yeah, we need
Yeah.
that change. We need that change, particularly for the fathers out there who are bringing up their children on their own. They're struggling. What do you think they should do, Daniel? Fathers out there who are,
When it
what
comes
can
to
they do to improve their health?
um, I mean, I think again, it's the self-awareness is key, because a lot of times, people may be eating unhealthily because they're trying to suppress some emotions that's hidden inside. And that's the challenge. And either they're drinking or sweet foods or, something, even harder to stop these emotions from surfacing. So, I think first things first, always awareness of your state, and you'll see what you're eating, and then you'll notice that you know, you may be addicted to these things, and often we are addicted. Like, you know, I raise my hand as one of the addictions I've had is to chocolate, sweet foods. That's been one of my addictions. I don't drink, you know, don't smoke, but I do have a sweet tooth. So, and I know that can be inflammatory as well. And I did go through a phase where I stopped sugar, and my hay fever was better, as were I had less aches and pains. So yeah, it was yeah, really powerful. And that's part of the reason I do my fasting as well, because that brings up certain emotions as well and resets my body. So yeah, you know, I think just to become aware first of all, and again, do you want to be healthy? That's the thing. Ask yourself that question. Do you really want to be healthy? Do you really want to be in top state to go out there, play football with your child or play sports with them? Yeah, and I think it's important, especially, you know, as you grow older, that you do, as you know, as Patrick said himself, you know, as you grow older, you start to notice these aches and pains coming that were never there before.
Yes.
Yeah, I hear that. I understand that. Yes. So, Patrick, if somebody that really loves their work and they're working out there, speak
Yeah.
to that person because you've gone through that journey. What could they do different? You know, speak that young person that love their job, tied to their desk, not doing anything, but later on it's going to lead into some kind of unhealthy emotions or sickness. Speak to that person because you've gone through that journey. What would you say to them they can do to better their lifestyle, even though they're doing this job they love?
Okay, so when you're, whatever stage you're at in life, you can be very enthusiastic. And enthusiasm is infectious, you know, and it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. But so one needs to develop the capacity to say no in a nice way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So look, somebody comes to you and says, look, I wonder, can you, I need this, when do you need it? I need it tomorrow. Well, look, I cannot help you tomorrow, but come to me next Friday and I will help you. So now you're taking control as opposed to saying, you know, accepting every demand. But if that was your boss, you could say, okay, now you know what I'm doing at the moment. So which part of that would you suggest I put on hold while I do this? You know,
Yeah.
and you see that then puts you in control. You know, you're taking control of the situation. Now, control sounds like a difficult, nasty word for some people, because I think so many people are in the space that they haven't developed the capacity to say no in a nice way. That was one of my big problems. I couldn't say no in a nice way. Oh yeah, right, yeah. And then you have all these things going on, and then you become frustrated. And you're not achieving the what you wish to achieve, but and then you work longer, work harder, and you're not in control. But we need to be in some kind of control. We need to have the dignity to respect ourselves, to respect our body. You know, if this was a car, if we were cars, we would take them to the garage and have them serviced, and you know, change the oil or whatever, and so that we would be in better shape. And but everything doesn't have to be. How would I put it? You know, at a high level. I was it Margaret or Daniel said earlier, you know, to do small things consistently well, you know. I mean, have a drink of water and look at the sky, you know. Take time out.
That's right.
Did it?
Do you know?
It's fun. Fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say, what your point about people's ability to say no is really fascinating because when I was very young, I had that, but then I realized the ability to say no was dependent on the fear that the question brought up. So if it brought up a lot of fear and the no, would bring up a lot, then it would be very, I couldn't say no. But if you clear the fear, then you can say no because you're confident. And I think it's to do with the underlying fear, your ability to say no. And once you process the underlying fear, or and this is across the entire spectrum, you can say no much more easily.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I really think that's huge, huge, huge there. The way I would frame that is that, you see, we need to learn these things much younger at school, For instance, to care less, but don't be careless. Now, you need to practice that, you see. Care less, but don't be careless.
Yeah, I think that's, that's it's really,
That's a really good point, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's very, very helpful. And then how we can own other people's problems despite trying to help them out, but they're not open at that point, and to accept that. Look at, where do we go from here is a great question. Where do we go from here? You have this and that, you have a whatever problem, but right, you know the issues and but where do we go from here? So what we're trying to do there is this, that many things in life we get intellectually. We get it. We say, yeah, you're right. But until it moves through our hearts, we don't take action.
Yeah, I agree. It just floats around there. It just literally floats around. So it kind of a dead dream, really, a dead vision, really, because you're not taking action. But there's one thing I really love what you said, because you paint a picture of a scenario. You being in the office, you love what you do, but you cannot say no to people when they dump on you, when they dump extra work on you, when they put that extra demand. I suppose all that, as you move on later on in life, is going to impact your health.
Yes.
A great impact on your health.
Yeah. And the reason they do this is because, you know the saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person.
That's exactly what I was thinking just now.
Give it to a busy person.
It's true, isn't it?
What I have not figured out.
One before. Patrick, I've never heard that one before.
Give it to a busy person, yeah. Margaret will work away on that. Give it to her. She's a mighty woman. She's a mighty woman, and she gets things done. Other people. Then you see, I haven't figured out. It's an ongoing process. I mean, if you were to program the three of us, or you could, by some magic, program yourself, or a very young person, like my grandson, 4 years of age. I was out with them today. So if I could program him, what would the survival characteristics? What would be the best ones to program the person with?
Well, that's a great question. That's a good question, because when they're young, their mind is kind of still fresh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of, they're taking, it's like a sponge that's taking all the information in. So really, it's where you start from here. So if you start with healthy eating, football, and taking care of themselves, so they grow up having that mindset, the importance of looking after themselves.
And to accept the dignity of others. I don't mean to accept the dignity of bad people, But we could talk about bullying, but not today. Not today. That's a whole new thing. I used to do for first stage in that, and it's very, very interesting subject, and it's all about, you know, what's going on between our left and our right ear, and how some people are very, very difficult, and how you handle them and how you move on, you know, is a great question.
Very much so. Very, very much so. Very much so. It's really good. Some amazing points that you've kind of brought up and everything like that.
Thank
You
you.
know,
And it's
and
been
I
an
love the
entire,
one.
entire
Go on.
spectrum as well. Like, you know, from health to the mindset, everything. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and the work ethic as well, to be able to say no at work. So if anybody there who's listening to us today and they are going through that journey, and I believe when you said that, I believe you've gone through that journey, you've gone through that experience. Oh, give it to Patrick, he will do it. He's really busy, he's kind of good, he's really reliable, and yet they come and dump the work on your desk. Can you speak to somebody out there who's going through that journey right now, and also to encourage them to say they can say no because you've gone through the journey?
Yeah, what I would say to them, look, tell me about yourself. I want to hear your story. Now, is this your identity? Do you want to stay here or do you want to move forward? Now, I can't do this for you. You have to do this for yourself. And one of the steps is to start reading. Be open to learning why it is the way you are, or why it is the way behavior in the world is. And ask yourself, what part have I played in where I am now? That is a major question. What part have you played in whatever you think is wrong with you? What part, you know? What part?
You know,
Are you interested in moving forward? Because it's going to take a bit of work, you know?
that question, what role have I played? What part have I played? How did I create this? Is just, that's, I mean, I think often when you sit down and you meditate about a certain situation in your life and you just in that stillness, then all of a sudden the insight will come about how this came about, how your situation came about, the specific thought that happened that created this. I had that experience this morning actually when I was sitting down meditating and I was working on something that someone had said to me and an experience I had with them, and I realized I created it. Even though I got upset at them, I created the situation. Yeah, it was, yeah. So I think that question is amazing, Patrick.
Thank you. And you know, there's another part to it is when you ask the question, you go quiet. You allow silence and see what comes into the silence. How do you mean? How do you mean? What do you mean? Well, you have to say, you have to repeat the question and talk about repetition in our lives. We need to remind ourselves about where we are, where we're going, and what we're doing. We need to realize that, you know, oh, I read that book, I don't need to read it again. You know, oh, that's done. That's done. Tick the next box. Well, what did you get out of that? You know, what was in that connected with you? So, I mean, this is why the emergency services and other people, this is why they indulge in huge repetition. So when the moment comes, they don't have to think about it. They just do it. And then they're constantly improving how they do it. So, and that's, you see, why all this is talk, we need to take action.
It's a very good note to kind of end that we take action and make decisions and take action. And I love the part that you just said, ask yourself the question, which part have I played for this situation to happen? And how could I remedy and make a difference from it so it doesn't happen again? And how do I act to stop it or to move forward? Those are really valuable points that you have brought up, Patrick. They are fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. And one thing I want to sort of kind of add on, I know we moved on to the fasting, but it's very, very interesting how we use fasting in a different scenario. Like you use fasting to clear your body, clear the mind, clear your system, your thoughts and everything. So which is really, really powerful. I kind of also use fasting, one, to give glory to God, but most of the time as well, I use it if I'm going through a new journey and I want clarity to that new journey, or I want clarity to how I put this Father talk show for the day, or whatever I'm going to do. And just starting off in the morning or fasting for it and waiting, do you know, by the end of whatever days I've chosen to fast, I end up having a really good, clear picture what I need to do and how to do it. That is also really, really important. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you, thank you. Daniel, can you give the guys out there, what can they do to improve their health as men? Like, for example, do you go to the gym?
Do I go to a gym? So I don't.
Yes.
I don't go to gym. I play tennis and I climb. So tennis is something I've played all my life. Absolutely love it. Puts me in the moment. And climb is just for strength. And so yeah, I mean, find something that you love. That for me, I love sport, so I don't do sport to keep fit. I do sport because I love it. I just enjoy different types of sports. So find something that you love, and there'll be a hurdle that you have to go through to learning, where you're not very good at it, you're a bit rubbish. But once you start getting better, then you can get into that flow, and it's the flow that is really powerful and where the enjoyment comes. So yeah, from a fitness perspective, uh, find something that you love, a sport that you love, and join local club, meet some people. Great place to meet people as well, and great place to bond as well with your child. Sport is one. When I was growing up, I'd take my daughter climbing and tennis, so it's a great opportunity to bond. And now she climbs. Last year she went to Italy to climb like this previously unexplored route. So yeah, it's great.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing. Patrick, we're coming to the end now. What are the best healthy food that fathers or anybody else that can eat? You've given us a list of food we kind of have to avoid. I love my tomatoes.
I love my tomatoes too.
Oh yeah, well look them up and maybe just eat less, But anyway, what do I have in the morning? Now, the first thing I have in the morning is a glass of water. And I would then make a smoothie. Now, for instance, this morning I had an avocado, I had a small orange, I had prunes, I had a pear, and I had a melon, and I threw in a vitamin C with it, and mixed it all up and drank it. So then I'd have another glass of water, so about 10 minutes after. So now it's time for lunch. I just have a sandwich, but I'm trying to balance between how much protein I'd eat. For instance, yesterday I had a tin of sardines and on toast and with some salad and stuff like that. But I'm very conscious, but it doesn't mean I'm getting it right. but I feel I am. Do you know, it's so confusing out there with what you should do, what you should do. What I would advise is that people try, well, this would be my breakfast now for the next month, and score yourself, you know, score yourself. So how did I feel? If 10 is what you want to feel, and we'll say 3 or 4 is where you are at the moment, or 5 or whatever. So you score yourself where you are at the moment on a scale of 1 to 10. And then after a month or 2 weeks, you score yourself again, just like you did, Daniel, with the fasting. You know, how you scored yourself, and how you, I think that's a fantastic thing to be doing, you know, scoring. But the other thing is that everything we do is linked. You know, our bodies are the most complex communication system on this earth, where everything is linked. You know, our thoughts, our organs, systems, and how these molecules impact on every cell, every organ, every system in the body. And that for me has been a huge discovery. It's given me my life back.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Amazing. Now, for us, what I wanted to ask you, the supplements that you have been talking about,
Yeah.
if the supplements that you've been talking about, if somebody wants to purchase it, somebody wants to know about it, how could they reach you?
Yeah, I'm on LinkedIn. Will I give you my LinkedIn in the chat, or what? What do you want to do? Or will I put it?
I think it'll be in the YouTube description, yeah?
Yeah, I'm going to put that in the YouTube. I've already got your LinkedIn, so I'll get all that information.
They can connect with me there, and
so they can connect with your LinkedIn, yes?
Yes, of course, yeah, and to yeah, I'd enjoy having well, opening minds and education, and understanding. You know, what people do with the information is up to them, but that's basically it.
Patrick, do you have a website as well, or just your LinkedIn profile?
I do, and I can give you that. You know, I can give you that.
Yes, please. If you can put it on the chat, when I send the video out for you, and also on LinkedIn, I'll be sending this to you directly, and also be putting it live on LinkedIn as well, and some of the other platform we use. So we can use that information and to send it out as well. So just put your website on the chat for us.
Okay. Now I hold back on my website because I like to have a conversation with people to find out where they are. I want them to have a good experience. So I prefer to have a conversation and open the conversation using LinkedIn. I don't want people to jump on my website and say, oh yeah. You know, I want it more meaningful.
Okay. We'll definitely do that. I'll then use the LinkedIn. All right, Daniel, we're coming to you. If people want to reach you, want to speak to you,
yes, if people want to reach me, my website is clearthepath.co.uk, Daniel D at clearthepath.co.uk, and feel free to reach out if you want, you know, any support on letting go and emotional well-being. Happy to help and have a chat.
And thank you so much to all our viewers all over the world. Thank you for being here today. And if you want to reach out to us, you want to speak to us, you want to be a guest speaker on the Father Talk Show, just DM me and I'll definitely reach out to you and invite you here. We want to say thank you so much, and please do subscribe and press the like button and encourage us. And I want to say thank you so much. Patrick, wave and say thank you for having you.
Yeah, and thank you, Daniel. Wonderful to meet you. And Margaret, thank you for facilitating this forum or seminar. What should we call it? I'm not sure.
Podcast. Absolute pleasure, Patrick.
No, it was a pleasure having you, Patrick. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. And I'll send all the information to you. God bless. Thank you all to our viewers.